Most drivers think a slow car means the engine is just getting old. But in many cases, your car isn't dying from age. It's losing power from simple maintenance neglect that quietly builds up over time. Most drivers notice their car feels weaker over time, but they blame age and keep driving. In reality, a lot of that lost power comes from neglected maintenance, not a dead engine. That hesitation when you press the throttle, the lazy response, the weaker pull up hills, those are often warning signs that airflow, fuel delivery, or ignition efficiency is slowly falling off. The good news is that many cars are not broken. They are simply dirty, restricted, or running on outdated learned behavior. That means some of the best fixes are not expensive engine repairs. They are simple DIY maintenance jobs that help the engine breathe, burn fuel better, and respond faster. The first hidden power thief is the mass airflow sensor, or MEF sensor, one of the most overlooked causes of sluggish throttle response. When the MEF gets coated with dust and oily residue, it misreads incoming air, and the engine computer makes bad fuel decisions from the very start. That often shows up as hesitation, rough idle, weak acceleration, and that annoying feeling that the car just doesn't pull like it used to. Cleaning the MEF with the correct cleaner is one of the fastest low-cost fixes in this whole category, and many drivers notice the difference right away. Another overlooked sensor is the MAP sensor, especially important in engines where manifold pressure data heavily affects fueling and performance. Because it lives in a dirty environment, the MAP sensor can get coated with oil vapors, carbon, and grime that distort its readings. If both MEF and MAP data are off, your engine computer is working with bad information from two directions at once. That is why cleaning both on the same day is such a smart move. You restore cleaner airflow data before chasing bigger problems. Next is the air filter, and this one sounds obvious, but a surprising number of slow-feeling cars are literally choking on restricted airflow. Your engine is basically an air pump. If airflow is restricted, performance drops, fuel economy suffers, and throttle response gets dull. A fresh paper filter or a properly maintained performance filter can make the engine feel freer and more eager, especially if the old one was badly neglected. But if you use an oiled performance filter, too much oil can contaminate the MEF sensor you just cleaned, so be careful. Now move to the throttle body, one of the biggest hidden causes of lazy response and unstable idle in higher mileage cars. Over time, carbon and oil vapors collect around the throttle plate and bore, restricting airflow exactly where the engine needs precision. That buildup can make the engine feel unresponsive, especially off idle, because air control is no longer clean and predictable. Cleaning the throttle body properly can restore smoother idle and sharper response, though some cars need a short relearn period afterward. Next comes spark plugs. They may not always add power when healthy, but worn or weak plugs absolutely rob power when they are overdue. Weak sparks lead to incomplete combustion, misfires, poor fuel economy, and a general loss of that crisp, eager engine feel. That is why checking plug condition, gap, and correct replacement type matters more than simply throwing in random cheap plugs. If your engine came with iridium plugs, downgrading just to save a little money can cost you performance and longevity later. Fuel delivery is another quiet power killer, especially when the fuel filter has been neglected for far too long. A restricted fuel filter may not feel terrible during light driving, but under hard acceleration it can limit flow exactly when the engine needs more fuel. That creates hesitation, lean running, and the kind of weak top-end pull drivers often misread as a tired engine. The PCV valve is another tiny part with huge consequences. When it sticks closed or open, pressure and airflow balance inside the engine start going wrong. A bad PCV valve can increase sludge, oil consumption, seal stress, and even power loss from bad crankcase ventilation behavior. One of the easiest checks in this whole video is simply pulling it out and checking whether it still behaves the way it should. Then there is the ECU reset idea. Sometimes the engine computer has adapted to bad habits, dirty parts, or poor past conditions. After cleaning and replacing certain parts, a reset can help some vehicles relearn from a cleaner starting point instead of clinging to outdated adjustments. Not every car responds dramatically, but when the learned behavior was truly off, Drivers often notice smoother throttle and better drivability. One of the most ignored free fixes of all is tire pressure. It sounds too simple, which is why people underestimate it. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, dull steering, slow acceleration feel, and quietly waste fuel every single day. Properly inflated tires make the car feel lighter, more responsive, and more efficient, often with no tools beyond a gauge and air source. The big lesson is that slow cars are often neglected cars. Small restrictions stack up until the whole vehicle feels older than it really is. And that is why these videos work. The audience feels hope. Instead of hearing they need a new car, they hear that lost performance can be restored. If you want the strongest structure, show one problem, one hidden cause, one fix, and one clear payoff in every section. So before assuming your engine is simply old, check the basic maintenance items that affect airflow, fuel delivery, spark, pressure, and rolling resistance. Your car may be losing power slowly, but you can bring a lot of it back.